It is the 5th of August, 2005, Fortaleza, Brazil. A man pulls down the metal shutter of a small synthetic turf business on a quiet street. He firmly locks the heavy padlock. Inside the shop, the floor is covered in a thick layer of pale, dry earth. He turns and walks away. 3 blocks away sits the regional branch of the Central Bank of Brazil. Its underground vault currently holds over 150 million reais in physical cash. No alarms are ringing. No security guards notice anything unusual. But a massive, meticulously planned breach is already underway. This is how it unfolded. 3 months earlier, a group of men leased the commercial property on Rua 25 de Março. They registered a new company named Grama Sintética. They sold artificial grass, or at least that was the sign hanging above the door. Neighbors regularly saw men in dirt-covered overalls loading heavy bags. The men loaded the excavated soil into a white van every single day. They told locals they were moving earth for a lucrative landscaping contract. It works. Nobody asks any questions. But beneath the floor of the shop, the men are quietly digging a vertical shaft directly into the ground. The vertical shaft goes down precisely 13 feet. From there, they begin tunneling horizontally toward the bank. The soil in Fortaleza is highly unstable. To prevent a catastrophic collapse, they line the tunnel with thick wooden planks and heavy plastic sheeting. They install a custom automated electric ventilation system. Long PVC pipes pump fresh air into the shaft. They wire the entire 256-foot tunnel for electric light. It is a massive, complex engineering project. The dedicated crew works in organized shifts. They dig incredibly slowly. They use hand tools to keep the noise down. A pulley system hauls the dirt. Above ground, the city goes about its business. Traffic rolls over the street. Pedestrians walk right above the excavators. Nobody hears a single mechanical thing. The tunnel is exactly 2.3 feet wide, just enough physical room for a grown man to crawl through. They navigate using a standard commercial GPS unit. They mathematically calculate the exact coordinates of the central bank's vault. The route takes them beneath a busy avenue and a crowded city intersection. After nearly 3 months of non-stop digging, they finally hit a solid wall. It is the reinforced concrete shell of the bank's highly secure vault. The vault walls are 3.6 feet thick. They are completely woven with heavy steel rebar. It is designed to withstand explosions and violent seismic shocks. The thieves do not use explosives. They use expensive, diamond-tipped circular saws and heavy-duty hydraulic jacks. They slice through the steel rebar completely silently. It takes them several hours to fully breach the final barrier. They pull away a large block of concrete. They are finally inside the perimeter. It is the weekend. The bank is closed. The vault is filled with wooden pallets of cash. Specifically, stacked bundles of heavily used 50 real notes. The thieves know exactly what they are looking for inside the massive vault. The used 50 real notes are not sequentially numbered. They are fundamentally impossible for the local authorities to trace back to the criminal. The heavily fortified room is equipped with active internal motion sensors and overlapping security cameras. But the criminal crew meticulously mapped the precise blind spots months before ever cutting through the thick concrete floor. They emerge from the floor completely undetected. They begin passing the money down the hole, bundle by bundle, pallet by pallet. The physical labor begins. The stolen cash weighs over 3.5 tons. They drag the heavy bags backward through the 256-foot tunnel, returning to the grass shop. The environment is incredibly cramped. Over the course of the weekend, they move 164.7 million reais. That is roughly $70 million in cash. It is a staggering sum. They painstakingly load the stolen cash into several waiting transport vehicles. By late Sunday night, the operation is completely finished. The men lock the shop and disappear into the night. Monday morning, August 8th. Bank employees arrive for work. Everything appears to be completely normal. The vault remains securely locked from the outside. The manager enters the complex security code and opens the heavy steel door. He steps inside. He looks down at the center of the room. He sees a massive 3-foot hole cut directly into the reinforced concrete floor. The large wooden shipping pallets are sitting completely empty in the quiet room. The fortune is gone. The alarm systems never triggered. The internal motion detectors registered absolutely nothing all weekend. Police are called immediately to the scene. Tactical police units shine flashlights down into the hole. They see the reinforced wooden planks, the PVC pipes, the electric wiring. The immense scale is apparent. Federal investigators carefully crawl through the dark tunnel. They follow it back to the empty shop on Rua 25 de Março. The storefront is deserted. The walls of the shop are entirely covered in fine white powder. The thieves sprayed industrial fire extinguishers everywhere before leaving. It destroys all fingerprints. The primary DNA evidence is gone. But they make one critical mistake. Inside the shop, forensic police discover a single prepaid cell phone card accidentally dropped. It eventually leads them to a specific cell number. They trace the number to a man who goes by the alias Tattoo, which translates to armadillo. The federal manhunt begins immediately. But the money is already rapidly moving. The thieves perfectly anticipated the police response and planned for the chaotic aftermath. They established a complex laundering network months in advance. They used the untraceable cash to buy fleets of luxury cars directly in straight cash transactions. They purchase high-end real estate properties. They securely move the newly bought vehicles out of the state instantly. The $70 million diffuses across the country. One primary suspect buys an enormous cattle ranch. Another suspect buys an entire fleet of commercial transport trucks. The financial footprint spreads rapidly through Brazil. Federal police launch Operation Facção Tupeira. They aggressively begin tracking the luxury car purchases. They wiretap multiple phones connected to the recovered prepaid cell phone card. By late September, police arrest 5 men directly connected to the tunnel. They successfully recover about $5 million. A tiny fraction of the massive total. The alleged mastermind, Luis Fernando Ribeiro, is not among those arrested. He effectively fled to Sao Paulo with his massive personal cut of the stolen cash. But the federal police are not the only ones looking for the stolen money. The criminal underworld in Brazil knows exactly who pulled off the heist. In early October, Ribeiro is violently kidnapped in Sao Paulo. His captors demand a massive cash ransom from his wealthy family. They quickly pay $890,000. It is not enough. Ribeiro's body is later found dumped on a dirt road outside the city limits. He has been shot multiple times at close range. The brutal kidnapping was orchestrated by a group of highly corrupt police officers. They specifically targeted the successful thieves to steal the money for themselves. The federal investigation becomes a chaotic web of sudden arrests, violent betrayals, and targeted murders. More suspects are kidnapped by rival gangs and rogue police cops. Over the next few turbulent years, federal police make over 130 separate physical arrests. They successfully convict dozens of individuals directly linked to the heist. But the core criminal crew that physically dug the tunnel remains mostly a complete mystery. Only a tiny handful of the actual diggers are positively identified. The central bank permanently upgrades its physical security protocols. They install highly sensitive seismic sensors directly inside the concrete floor. They mandate strict real estate checks. The massive physical tunnel is entirely filled with heavy, poured concrete. The artificial grass shop is permanently seized and auctioned off. The physical evidence is buried. By 2015, exactly 10 full years after the heist, Brazilian federal authorities have officially recovered less than 10% of the originally stolen 164 million reais. The vast majority of the money completely vanishes into the broader domestic economy. The untraceable used notes quietly circulate silently through millions of everyday financial transactions. Some of it likely funded other massive underground criminal operations. Major drug trafficking routes, violent weapons smuggling rings, and more complex heists across South America. The permanent ripple effects are massive. It currently remains one of the largest bank robberies in human history. A true masterclass in analog engineering and discipline. The sheer technical precision of the tunnel continually baffles professional civil engineers globally. The crew successfully moved heavy earth for months without a single structural failure. They bypassed advanced electronic security with simple shovels, wood, and a compass. They completely defeated modern digital surveillance by simply going physically underneath the security system. Today, the massive regional bank in Fortaleza looks exactly as it did back in 2005. The extremely heavy steel vault doors are still actively in daily use. The heavy wooden cash pallets are still stacked incredibly high on the secure concrete floor. The heavily armed security guards still heavily patrol the exterior perimeter. But the men who successfully walked away with tens of millions of dollars are still actively out there. In the absolute dark, a new floor is covered in dirt.